Well, hello, Mr. Syd Hayes. Thank you so much for joining me for a little brew.
I know, thanks for the
natter.
cuppa. It
Quite
feels
welcome.
like I'm on the wrong side of the camera.
No. Does it feel really unnatural at the moment? That you're meant to be busy.
It's quite
behind the
interrogation.
scenes?
Normally I'm not here on this side.
I won't interrogate
No,
you.
okay.
I'll keep the torture
good.
to a minimum.
Great, thank you.
I'll try not to make you cry, but I'm not promising.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
okay.
sit quietly and
Yeah,
patiently
on your
and
hands.
calmly
That's
like
it.
that. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Fingers on lips. So, Syd Hayes, in front of me, in the flesh, who would you say has influenced you the most during your career?
Wow. There's some key people throughout my career who have been very, very influential. Right from the beginning, when I started and went and worked as an assistant in Mayfair with Nicky Clark, to moving on to Hersheson's and working with Luke Hersheson, who was at the time was kind of starting out on his session career, and that was going really well. And then leaving him and going working with the god of hair, Guido, I got to travel the world, and it was an eye-opener to work with literally the best photographers in the world. And now, fortunately, I'm sort of trying to carve my way and work with those guys as well.
Fantastic. Thinking back across that career so far, what would you say is the craziest thing, weirdest thing you've ever had to do for a project?
So this is really weird.
I love it already.
Crazy, weird. We were at London Fashion Week, we were working for a designer and we were doing a hair test. And a hair test is something where you go, normally the night before. If the designer's well prepared, you might go in 2 weeks before or start conversations a month before. But I don't know why, I don't know where this came from, but we were doing this hair test and it was 2 nights before the show to try and work out what the show hair was going to be like. And I said to one of my assistants, to Jason, I said, Jason, can you just run out around the corner? Can you go to an off license or a Boots or somewhere, and can you buy a pack of condoms?
Okay, let's get a drink for this.
Yeah, I mean, I might join you on a sip of that.
Just a gulp.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
a weird
right.
scenario. We haven't talked about it since.
Well, no, I should imagine therapy would have been involved.
Luckily it was Jason I asked and not Paula.
How did you use said implement?
Over the head.
Just literally over the
Over the
heads?
heads, yeah.
Was this just to get out doing the hair?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair
Couldn't be
enough.
bothered that day, you know.
Okay, and was it ultimately used?
Do you know what is really interesting is I spend so many hours now with the team squad prepping stuff.
Yep.
Wigs, hair pieces, different ideas, and most of it doesn't get used.
Never sees the light of
But
day.
it sometimes does, and it comes out maybe like 3 years later.
Okay.
Or something happens and you're like, we need that, because you know you've got it.
I shall go to the Syd storage unit
Exactly, yeah, and pick that
file
up.
it. Oh, is it a very large, fully stocked SKU? I bet there's some wonderful things
It's becoming,
in there.
it's ridiculous now. It's, it started at home. I built this like brick shed outside when we redid our house, so that it had underfloor heating, so that the wigs wouldn't get cold at night.
Oh, God bless the wigs, because,
And
I worry about them.
It had all my bags in, and every wardrobe in our house was full of hair products, hair kit, electrical tools, you name it, it was in there, until I got married. The wife said, get out.
Yep.
So, yeah, so we've now got a bit of a storage
Fantastic.
area.
Well, my next question you may have already answered. Which job was the most fun and why?
I'm quite lucky
Oh, you've got loads
because
to choose
I get
from.
to travel the world, I get to see new places, and I get to hang out in some of the most, actually I wouldn't say hang out, I get to
You work, yeah. No, this
in
is
some of the
serious.
most amazing locations where you kind of have to pinch yourself and go, oh my God. So there's been years ago now, we used to go and do campaign for Louis Vuitton, and they used to fly us over to Patagonia. We used to fly us over to an island off of Zanzibar called Nemba, and we'd be shooting on the beach, on an island, and we'd stay on the island for 2 days. And you kind of like, I need to come back here and actually lie down rather than work.
And do you ever? Do you have a long list of places?
I do. There's a long list of places to go. I'm quite good at trying to find that work balance thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes less so, but I do think it is good to have a break because you need to reflect and think about what was good, what was bad, how you can improve yourself and what you do.
How critical are you of you?
The worst critic ever.
I thought you might say
I think if you're not like that, you're not going to be successful.
Okay.
I kind of really believe that if you, in life, whatever it is what you do, if you don't do it to the best of your ability, you're not going to succeed. If you do something half-heartedly, it's never going to work. So if you criticize yourself, that's a good thing.
And on the subject of criticism, has there been like a single piece of criticism, feedback, slightly negative, that you've received that you think has really kind of lit a fire under you or helped drive you forward or change your attitude?
Yeah, it's probably when I was 17 and we decided that the best thing to do was not go and work in my dad's salon because as a 17-year-old you know everything and you think you are the best. And you're not. But you don't know that until you grow up and you learn about life and you see things. So when we went to look around salons when I was 17 with my dad, who took me into town, and we went around all the best salons in London. We walked into them all, we had a look, I said, you know, to try and get a Saturday job.
Yep.
When I woke up that morning, I got dressed and I went out. My dad looked at me and went, "Are you serious?" I said, "What do you mean, am I serious?" He said, "You look like shit." He said, "Go and change, go and look good, because it's your first impression."
Oh. Do you remember what you were wearing?
I don't, but it was probably some like tracksuit bottoms and a pair of trainers and, you know, I don't know, a t-shirt cut up or something dodgy.
So you got all smart, went into
put
town.
something good on, went into town, looked around all the big salons in Mayfair and London and Covent Garden, and we went home and decided on the best salon that I liked, not what he thought.
Right.
What I liked and the buzz and the kind of salon that it looked like.
Yep.
So that was, at the time, Nicky Clark's on the corner of Mount Street and Berkeley Square in Mayfair, and it was a 3-story huge salon with a spiral staircase, grand staircase in the middle of it. And it was kind of, you walked in there and there were like actresses going past, there were kind of big blowouts, big huge hair, and there was a buzz and an atmosphere, and there were, when I started, I think there were 15 assistants in the salon.
Wow.
So that was assistants, so there were 30 staff, 40 staff, so that's a big salon. And being in Mayfair, the clientele was amazing.
It must have been such a learning curve for you.
Great, we had some great nights out.
I bet you bloody did.
Brilliant. And also, like all apprenticeships, you know, you don't earn a lot. I used to I didn't have to, but my dad was very good in, I didn't earn very much as an assistant and learning, and I did the apprenticeship at Nicky Clark's, and I also then had to get a bar job in the evening in a pub 2 nights a week so that I could actually get some extra cash so I could go out at the weekends. So kind of, I wasn't a good enough hairdresser at the time when I started, so I went and worked in a pub to earn some extra money.
So looking back to that time, starting out, what do you wish you'd known then that grown-up Syd knows now?
That you will always learn, that you can never stop learning. As a kid, you think you know everything, like I said, and you don't. You keep learning. I learned this weekend, just gone, I will learn tomorrow. And that's really nice to be able to still, you know, learn. It's an incredible experience. And also, the older I get, the more that I get out of showing someone how to do something and teach them.
What is it about hairdressing, your job, that makes you the happiest? What at work makes you happy?
To come away and have achieved something and pushed myself and created something new, that's when I can kind of come away and go, you know what, that was a really good day, because I pushed myself, I got pushed. When I work in on editorials with some of the biggest photographers in the world, you end up working with the best people in the world. So they push you and push you and push you. So when you work around and with other people that have huge creative energy and you come together as a collaboration, that's when I really enjoy it, because although it's a really difficult day, you come away of like, that's done. We can move on to tomorrow.
Right. Okay, you're in that situation, you're working with people at that level, and they've just asked you to do something that you have never done before, you don't know if you can do it. How do you handle that? Do you ever dare say no, or do you just say,
you never say
I'll give it a crack?
Because if you say no, you've been defeated.
Okay.
So there's always a way of doing something. So when you have a support system, like I just said, around you of really good, talented people, you can come together and you can bounce off of those guys and say, look, what do you think about this? What if we did it like that? Or what happens if we did it that way? And then coming together, you will achieve it and you will do it.
Can you think of a time when you've been asked to do something that just absolutely scared the living life out of you?
Sometimes in prep, when you do things and you take it with you and it didn't come out the way you expected it to work.
Okay, yeah.
Then you have to adapt, you have to think quickly and you change it.
Okay.
That's when creativity comes and you find something new that you didn't know existed.
And is that something you feel you've got inside of you anyway, or is that like a muscle you've had to train over the years?
I've always been into my art. I've always been quite a creative person. At school, I was never someone who was hugely academic on the math side or the sciences side, and even the English side. I was a very creative. I was very into my art, and all I wanted to do was art.
Okay.
It was so, and that was when I decided to go into hairdressing. It was because I wanted to go into something in fashion or something in the photography world or something art-based. And doing what I do and being on the other side of the camera, I'm able to create and achieve something with other huge creative people.
And obviously you're doing it incredibly well. You have just won the Most Wanted Session Stylist Award for the second year on the trot.
That was a shock.
Yes. How was it when your name was read out on the night?
I just wasn't expecting it at all.
Really?
I didn't realise
that you...
No, I'm not, because
okay.
I didn't realise you could even be nominated again. I thought once you'd won it, you couldn't be nominated again to win it again.
Got to win it 3 times.
3 times.
And then you become a legend.
I've got to do a trio,
and then you're kicked out. You
then
can't
I'm
win
out
it again.
And you can't come again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've learnt again today.
There you go.
The category is full of like the best people in the industry. So to be nominated is A, amazing, and then to win it is incredible, and C, it's like, when it happened, I was honestly in shock. I hadn't prepared anything. I don't believe in trying to prepare something for winning something.
Well, you were just off a flight from your holiday.
Yes, I came back.
And you were about to get on another flight to go back.
To go back again.
Oh, I bet the wife was happy about that.
Well, at least the cost of the flights was worth coming back for. I did leave the wife in Ibiza, which
Perhaps
is not a bad place to be left.
Okay.
And it was so worth it. I did go home or back to Ibiza, and I was a little tired and slightly grumpy.
Right, okay.
Which is not normally me, but I think it was allowed. I think I got 3 hours sleep that night.
Probably more than some of the guests there.
Yeah, true.
So, yes, you've won for Session Stylist, but you do actually balance your world between session and the salon in Q-Cut.
Yeah.
Genuinely, how do you manage that? Practically, how do you do it? Is it 2 days a week?
It's
in the
normally
salon?
1/2. Week by week it varies. I don't have a huge clientele anymore because people get frustrated and they get annoyed. Right. And I enjoy the salon and I enjoy what it brings. It's very kind of down to earth. There's no rubbish. It's 8:30 in the morning and it closes at 6 or 9 o'clock or whenever it is, so you know you're going to be home when you say you're going to be home.
Right.
With places like this, your studio is not your time, it's someone else's time. So at least in the salon, you know, I'm going to get home at 7 o'clock.
Yep, when you've promised the wife.
1 a.m.
Yep.
So I don't ruin dinner and my dog's not angry at me.
Well, session, salon,
Yep.
now entrepreneur and brand owner. Tell us a little bit
So
about the Syd
yeah,
pin.
oh God. Not quite a brand yet.
Okay.
Which is what I'm learning. When I launched Syd Pin, which was my hair accessory.
I just happen to have,
Oh God, there you go.
down here,
One prepared. It's very
One.
Blue Peter. I like that.
if only I'd get a badge, Syd. One little Syd pin. Look at that.
So I wanted to come up with something that was new. And that's quite difficult.
Yeah.
Because
So pretty.
yeah, it worked quite well, and it came from something else. Like
Yeah.
I talk about all these things. I was doing a show, and we were backstage. Or not backstage, we were at the hair test again. Obviously, a lot of ideas come from hair tests because you get time to look at something and work on something. And it came from a kilt pin. It came from the idea of a kilt pin, and we changed the design of it slightly, and I put teeth in it so it had a bit of grip.
Yeah.
And you know, we pushed the end part slightly so that when it goes through your bun, it actually sticks out. So, and I sort of thought, well, we should do these in 4 or 5 different colours. They should be metal, they should be shiny, they should be metallic. Because I used to look at women and girls walk down the street in these messy top knots.
Yep.
Because it's an easy hairstyle.
Absolutely.
But they needed a bit of a zhuzh and a glam.
Right.
So something simple and cool in design and shape, I thought would work really well.
And you're
It started.
expanding upon it as well. I'm
We are.
awaiting
We
the
are.
Syd cuff.
Yeah, the Syd cuff is coming, which is basically a bit of leather.
Yep.
The leather part will wrap around your ponytail.
Lovely.
So you tie your hair off in your ponytail, you pop your leather around the cuff of the pony, and then the pin slides through from one side of the leather cuff to the other, and it holds in place.
Lovely.
Very simple, very elegant. Again, another hair accessory and a continuation of what we're doing.
And when you get somebody like Victoria Beckham talking about it,
Yeah, quite handy
mean,
on launch day.
wasn't that nice?
It was great. It was really nice.
I hope you've said thank you to
We
Vicky.
have done, we have. Yeah, we did send her something and said thank you very much. She actually did get a pin.
But she got a diamond one, didn't she?
Wow, that would be telling, wouldn't it? I'm fortunate in, you know, I get to work with really amazing people every week, every other week. And those names and those people are influencers, and they're like the highest influencers. So some of them are really into it and love it and want to help, and others aren't. And I've always tried to help people that work with me, because one day, you never know, you might need help from them.
Absolutely.
So if I can scratch your back, hopefully you might scratch mine.
Of course, whenever you need it, you just say.
Thanks.
Well, Mr. Syd Hayes, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always great hanging out with you, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Thank you.